Oy, Philhealth, gastusin niyo ito para sa taong bayan, kinuha ninyo at binigay sa iba. So in that case, maybe Philhealth can already request the President to return the money, the 60 billion that were transmitted to Philhealth, to the government for anchor program funds. Ibalik na yan sa Philhealth, and Philhealth to expand its benefits, hire more people to answer for the needs of the health of our people. So when you took the 89 point, when DFS requested the 89.9, it represents the unutilized subsidies.
Yes, Your Honor.
When you speak of subsidies that were given to Philhealth on 2021, 22, and 2023, why do you consider that unutilized? Because Philhealth is a going concern. And in fact, I understand for 2025, no subsidy was allotted to Philhealth. So why would you consider it to be unutilized subsidy?
Yes, Your Honor, if I may. Number one, for the past years, even for the years 2021, 2022, and 2023, Philhealth consistently receives premium subsidies in the GAA. It was the case in 2024. They were allocated about 40 billion in the 2024 GAA. And in 2025, the executive proposed, I think, in the NEF of about 80 billion in subsidies. So the reason, Your Honor, is because consistently the government, when DOF computed or evaluated the fund balance, the national government has demonstrated the capacity, the willingness to continuously provide subsidies to Philhealth. And of course, the mechanism in Section 37, the last paragraph, says that the DOH and Philhealth can provide the necessaries, can request the subsidies to help it achieve the goals of the Universal Healthcare Act. So it's a continuous flow, Your Honor.
Yes, precisely. So the fact that Philhealth could not spend this amount for benefits, and the national government will take this amount to fund unprogrammed expenditures, the fault is on Philhealth for not spending this. It is not for the government to take this away and for Philhealth to expand its programs, so that the subsidies that were allocated by government for healthcare should not be taken away. Instead of directing the DOF, the national government, directing Philhealth, oy, Philhealth, gastusin niyo ito para sa taong bayan, kinuha ninyo at binigay sa iba. This is precisely the meat of this case. So, why is Philhealth, therefore, not expanding their benefits and programs that would approximate the subsidies that were given to them to answer for the health benefits of our people?
Your Honor, if I may. So this is, of course, based on the discussions with management and my experience in the deliberation of the board. But fundamentally, Philhealth faces a structural absorptive capacity issue. What does that mean? The benefits, expansion of benefits is only one part of the equation. To accomplish the objectives of the Universal Healthcare Act, the national government also needs to address what we term as the supply side constraints, supply side issues. So ano po ba ito, Your Honor? So number one, the insufficiency of the compensation for our healthcare workers or healthcare professionals. Number two, hospitals, healthcare facilities. Even if there is even if benefit expansions occur, if there is no hospital within the vicinity of a specific beneficiary, particularly an indigent beneficiary, then they will not be able to avail of these expanded benefits. So there needs to be the supply side constraints. And of course, in addition to the direct health, supply side health constraints, so yung hospitals po, yung medical equipment, and of course the personnel, the health care workers, you also have the WHO also has this term called the social determinants of health. So those are the other things. Those are the other things that help improve health outcomes. So what are these?
These things that you mentioned, absorptive capacity, the supply side issues, this can also be addressed by government. You're getting money from Philhealth and telling us that Philhealth lacks absorptive capacity. But the reason why it lacks absorptive capacity, because it doesn't get full support from government, not only addressing expanding benefit, but also supply side requirements. So you're just providing an excuse to get this money out of Philhealth. No, when you speak of limitations in hospitals, I mean, you can inquire from our people, repeated complaints that they cannot even get Philhealth benefits. And if they get Philhealth benefits, it's so low that it cannot even cover substantially the amount expenses or medical expenses. So people will not understand the issue of absorptive capacity or supply side demand or requirements. So on the issue of why do you need to take this amount if the blame should be on Philhealth because it could not provide for these benefits?
Your Honor, if I may. So after the order or the instruction to return the 89.9 billion, we have seen last year that Philhealth has significantly accelerated the pace of benefit expansion, and they will continue to provide more benefits this year. So the issue in terms of the expansion of benefits is steadily being addressed.
Precisely, that Philhealth increases its benefits because of public criticism arising from this, trying to get the 89.9 billion. They are now probably justifying, oh, we can do this. In fact, we're increasing the amount. Without public backlash, probably, I don't know if Philhealth will increase its benefits.
That may be so, Your Honor, but all the same, I think for the Department of Finance, for the economic managers, what matters to us is the expansion of benefits. If there must be a stick that must be presented together with the carrot, then we shall, I think we are happy if we see more benefits for the Filipino people.
Okay. Now, let us now go to the collection, the subsidy. The subsidy that were given to Philhealth were taken from the taxes, as mentioned earlier by Justice Ami, taxes from PAGCOR, etc. Now, when the budget for Philhealth subsidy from government, how do you compute the proposal of Philhealth for subsidy from government? Let us say for 2024, so may budget call noong 2023. Philhealth will have to prepare a budget, a request. For purposes of determining the subsidy that will be contributed by the government, what is your basis in determining the subsidy? Proposal to be submitted to the Office of the President for NEP.
Your Honor, if I may, I believe the exact process would be most familiar to DBM, but if you can allow me my basic understanding of the process. So Philhealth, during the budget deliberation period, they submit they submit a proposed budget. And this proposed budget includes, number one, the number of
No,
beneficiaries.
initially, sa NEP pa lang. For purposes of preparing the NEP, the Philhealth will submit to the Office of the President a budget. Part of that budget is the amount of subsidy for indirect contributors. How much do you ask for, and what was the basis for this amount?
Your Honor, if I may, I'm not familiar on the exact amount, but in terms of the process, I know to the best of my knowledge, the proposal of PhilHealth is put together with with DOH. So it's the DOH budget submitted to DBM for evaluation.
No, the reason why I
and
ask
NEP.
this, we have laws that allocate funds to answer for the subsidy of government to PhilHealth. Mentioned earlier, syntaxes, etc., etc. Now, do you know the actual collection of government corresponding to these taxes? And if you have computed this amount, do this equal to the amount PhilHealth requested Office of the President for purposes of subsidy for indirect contributors?
Your Honor, I do not have with me the exact certifications from the syntax
I need to get an
allocation.
answer to this because this is in relation to the question of a special fund. Yung collection ng gobyerno sa mga taxes, PAGCOR, etc., for the year, ito rin ba ang hiningi ng PhilHealth sa Office ng President para doon sa subsidy ng indirect contributors? For me, it should be the same amount.
I believe our colleagues from PhilHealth or probably DOH would be in a better position to answer this on the exact amounts, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Assistant Secretary Albert Domingo from the Department of Health.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. To the question on how the PhilHealth computes its request for a budget, it does not refer to the computation on the syntax allocation. Instead, it counts the number of members based on a database. There is a database on indirect members, and then it generates a list. It enumerates the number. The exact number escapes me now, but this is the process. And then that number is submitted, multiplied by a factor, which is the premium rate, and then it is submitted to the Department of
So
Budget
therefore,
Management.
when you come up with your budget request for the subsidy, you don't actually consider the taxes being collected that Congress passed for purposes of subsidy for indirect contributors.
That is correct, Your Honor. The budget is computed based on the need.
So they're not following the law? You're not observing what the law requires?
Your Honor, budget principles require that it's needs-based. If we will follow it based on the projected fund ceiling or availability, it might not match certain needs.
Yes, I agree. It's based on needs. But the problem there is PhilHealth limits the funding so that you don't address the needs, the health needs of the Filipino people. If you increase budget 200%, and I don't think the Filipino would not avail of that. You define your own limits. The Congress allocates budget or collects taxes, provides for collection of taxes to answer for the subsidy of PhilHealth for indirect contributors. Now, when you request money for subsidy, ang ibig mong sabihin, hindi mo papakailam yun? Hindi mo naiintindihin yun? Gagawa ka ng sarili mong formula because you have limited understanding there's a limited need of our people for health.
Your Honor, the current administration agrees with your observation, which is why this particular case under litigation has been the signal it has been using to increase the benefits. Ang tagal na po, 10
So
taon.
therefore, if the current administration recognize that, very thank you. And therefore, they should bring back the money back to PhilHealth.
Your Honor, the reason why the administration recognized it because for the longest time, the corporation has thought it will always get money because of the guarantee of the sin
Oh,
tax.
precisely, whatever would be. Whatever is that. As long as the government recognizes now, it is now incumbent on the part of the government to return the 60 billion that was transmitted already because it recognized now. Hindi lang na-recognize probably before, ngayon na-recognize na. So therefore, when you recognize it, you should return it. What do you think?
Your Honor, if it pleases the court, Section 58, the sovereign guarantee, even without this maneuver of the 89.9, government can and always will increase the benefits. But the signal, Your Honor, if it pleases the court, that this litigation gave is a strong signal for it to do so.
So the court, the people, should now be satisfied by a strong signal from the administration.
Your Honor, it's not necessarily the administration. It is the fact that the reserves, the
You
amounts...
said the government.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So a strong signal from the government to help PhilHealth and expand benefit should now be enough for our people to rely on.
This is the start, Your Honor. If the case is allowed to proceed, if the transfer is allowed to proceed, it is a use it or lose it signal, which all national government agencies have, so that we will use our funds. GOCCs like PhilHealth do not have that signal, and they think, at least before the current CEO or the current administration, they think that just because there is an earmark, whether hard or soft, that they will get the money, and there is no stimulus for them to actually increase the benefits.
When you prepare this budget of yours for subsidy, why did you not consider the collection made by government, by BIR, on the sin taxes? What was the reason behind that?
Your Honor, mathematically, it's the premium rate. The way that the premium rate is determined, unfortunately, is not actuarially fair. It is not based on the spread of benefits that is due the Filipino people. Kulang po talaga yung binabayad ng PhilHealth. 10% lamang po in 2024. Kaya dapat po talaga taasan. And mathematically, the only way to do this is to increase the benefit packages, which we are doing now.
But the government collected taxes already, representing supposedly the subsidy. Why would government not transmit everything to PhilHealth as originally intended?
That is correct, Your Honor. Unfortunately, the receptacle to which this money can be transmitted cannot handle the amount of money because it's too small.
So if it is correct, and the reason why it was not transmitted because of administrative matters or hindrances, you agree that this should go to PhilHealth. It's a matter of spending it. So therefore, when government merely allocated this amount, probably substantially lower from the taxes that were collected, all of the balance should be given to PhilHealth this year and prior years. It's just a matter of administrative absorption. Hindi lang kaya gastusin ng PhilHealth. Kung hindi kaya gastusin ng PhilHealth, ibigay sa PhilHealth at utusan ng PhilHealth, oy, taasan ninyo ang benefits nyo. Hoy, mag-hire kayo ng mga tao ninyo para magastos ito para sa health ng ating tao.
Your Honor, if I may, 3 presidente na po ng Republika ang dumaan simula noong 2013 hanggang 2023. At siguro mahigit 10 mga presidente ng korporasyon. Ganun po lagi ang utos pero hindi po nangyayari until now.
Probably it's time to overhaul PhilHealth and change the board for not complying what the law requires. Hindi kasalanan ng tao yan. For not availing all of these benefits. Apparently from your own words, kasalanan yan ng administrasyon, this administration, last administration, or the previous administration. At kasalanan yan ng PhilHealth Board. Huwag natin pahirapan yung tao because nandyan naman yung pera. The money is there. Government will not giving it to PhilHealth to serve as health benefits for our people.
If I may, Your Honor, In fact, nung una pong oral arguments, iba po yung PCEO na humarap sa korting ito. At nung ikalawang oral arguments, ganun ho kabilis, iba na ho uli yung humarap na CEO. Kino-correct na po.
Okay, so that's maybe a good point from PhilHealth, but we cannot close our eyes for the past years na hindi nabigay in benefits. So in that case, maybe PhilHealth can already request the President to return the money, the 60 billion that were transmitted to PhilHealth, to the government for Anchor Program funds. Ibalik na yan sa PhilHealth, and PhilHealth to expand its benefits, hire more people to answer for the needs of the health of our people. That will be all, Chief. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Ko.